Hi.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So we are already live streaming. So I would love for you to tell everybody who you are and what you do and the work that you're doing within the community.
Hi, everyone. I'm Portia Flowers, and I run an in-home childcare called First Choice Kids. I took over the business from my mom, who had it for 20 years. So I've been here the past 10 years, and we just really focus on the development of young children. Our primary children are children of color, and we just get them ready for school and the real world.
So you took it. You said you took it over after your mom.
Mhm.
So what made you take it over from your mom?
I think I fought it for so long just because nurturing is just second nature to me. I originally was like, I'm going to go to school for law and this is what I'm going to do. But just seeing how much time she had with us being me and my siblings and cousins, and just the impact that she's made in the community and the lives that she's changed, that kind of made me lean more into it. And I told myself I was going to do it for a year, and then that year turned into two, and so on. So I'm still here.
That, that's amazing. So since COVID has hit, what's changed?
Honestly, for us, not too much. And I think that's because we're an in-home, we're not a center. So we have always been able to be really hands-on when it comes to cleanliness and just like our numbers and our routine. If anything that's been major to for me is the circle time and like the impact of, because our kids are like family. They literally, most of them have been here since birth. And when they are, I do 0 to 5 now. So once they are ready to go into school, I normally have like a sibling or a cousin or something like that of their family. So I think it's really just like how much they can be in each other's face. That's been the kind of thing that we have to like, circle time. We have our mask on and things like that, and more sanitizing in between different parts of our day. But really nothing as far as like the love and care, none of that's changed. I think if anything, I've been more intentional with that, because you have to kind of disconnect from like the hugging and that kind of stuff. So I'm very affirming, I think even more so now than I would have been prior, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do they? So I know that it's different with the face masks,
Hmm.
and I know as an adult, like I hate them with every
Right.
fiber of my being. I and I can't imagine like telling the kids like you have to wear this, and you have to social distance. Um, do they comprehend that well?
I think they do, only because germs have been something that we've always talked about. Um, I've I'm really good with like, we say no germ zone, and this was like prior to COVID, because I'm sure if you have kids or you've been around kids, everything goes in their mouth.
Hmm.
Saliva gets everywhere, and so I've
Yeah.
always been like, you touch that after they do this with that, then germs are going to spread, and we don't want germs to spread because we want to be able to come back tomorrow with to play with their friends. And so I think they are all really aware, and their parents do a really good job of talking with them and not at them. So they were aware of what was going on with the coronavirus before I could even explain to them what it
Oh
was.
wow.
Yeah, and a lot of my parents have been actually able to stay at home prior to the stay at home order. So that worked out for me. It was something that they talked about at home. So they comprehend, and they actually think the masks were cool. So
Oh,
that
cool.
works for me. Yeah, they, when we're running around and doing like our exercise, that kind of stuff, if we do like, because I do Zumba with them, or we'll do yoga, deep breathing and stuff like that, that's where it gets kind of tricky because they're breathing so heavy and so fast. So um I just tell them, slow down, and we take some breathers in between. We do a lot of outside. Obviously, we haven't been able to with the smoke, but they are really team players, so it hasn't been crazy, too
Do you
crazy.
guys have any school age kids?
I actually do right now. Um, like I said before, I cut off my before and after program just because I wanted to really focus on the development and getting them ready for school and then releasing them. But when COVID hit, I had 2 5-year-olds that
Mm.
I actually was transitioning out. And when they said that it was going to be virtual or remote learning, I'll say, um, that changed for me because I was like, I don't want them to just go anywhere, and the parents still have to work. And I'm a mama bear without being a mom, if that makes sense. So I'm
Mm.
like, I'll work it out. And so I do have, right now, I have one kid that I do the remote learning with on top of my preschool program that I do for my kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's that going? How's the virtual learning going while you have your preschoolers?
It's really different. I couldn't imagine sitting in front of a screen for 6 hours. Like there's no way. And this kid in particular is part of the Kent school district.
Okay.
So um I'm like, I understand like he wants water breaks and he wants to like glue the back of his markers if he rips just any little thing to get up and breathe. So we take lots of brain breaks. And my main thing with the kids is learning through play. So I always try to teach them through experiences. And I think him having that balance between schoolwork and then being able to go play with the other kids in between is helping him. And it's
Mhm.
teaching me a lot too about what to expect with the new normal, because I think this will be what it's going to be for a while. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine having a little and they are, especially when they're doing kindergarten,
Yeah.
um, just sitting in front of a screen. That's something
Mhm.
that I can't even imagine.
And it looks crazy. I mean, literally, I'm like checking the screen all the time, and they could change their backgrounds, and then some of the kids are like jumping on their bed, and you get to see all of that. So I'm like, that's distracting in itself. I'm distracted, and I'm an adult, so I know it's hard. It has to be hard.
Do you think that the teachers are like adapting well, at least with the one that you saw?
She's really great, but she's also not from America, so
Oh,
I don't know if it's just her patience and like the way that she sees the children. Um, I believe this is her second year teaching, so I'm sure she's, you know, more open than a lot of us probably would be because they
mhm,
may have experienced this before. Um, so she's really good. She's really hands-on. She's really good with letting them take breaks when they want to, even if it's not necessarily a scheduled break. So I think
mhm.
that's good. She's like, listen to your body, and when your brain needs a rest, take a rest. It's okay. And they have like this little digital raise your hand thing that you could click, and then she'll call on them and let them, or they could chat on the side and ask to go to the bathroom or stretch or whatever. So it's
Okay.
it's really good. I do feel bad though, because I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna work long term. Yeah.
And then how are you incorporating the virtual learning with the littles that you already have?
Um, so for the student that I have that's doing the remote learning, I actually have him in a separate space in the daycare. That way he can focus. And then I have my preschoolers. We do so when he's doing his guided reading and like welcoming in, we're starting our circle time because that's more of his, I want to say, louder time. So in a sense, we're doing the same thing. It's just I'm doing it hands-on with them while he's doing it with his teacher. And then when he
Mhm.
has a brain break, that's like our recess, and then they'll all play together, and then we'll start our sensory play and stuff like that when he's doing art.
Okay.
So
Do
yeah,
you guys think that you'll bring in more school agers as the year goes?
I honestly don't want to, just because it is a lot of work, and you want to. It would be it's even harder, I think, to make sure that they're comprehending everything because
Mhm.
their attention spans like it's hard. And
Mhm.
this is only week 2 for us over here, so I don't think I'll bring unless I ultimately had to. I don't plan on it.
I mean, that makes sense. I
Yeah.
can't imagine having more than just one. And, we have parents who are doing it at home and working and trying to create a learning space.
Right.
Do you have like any, I guess, advice for any parents who are creating spaces for their kids inside?
I would just say be patient because while you're learning how to navigate this new normal, so are they. And then most of the children and parents have probably been cooped up in the house since March, I'm thinking, when everything really hit. So just understanding that too, like where they would have that freedom to express and that freedom to socialize, now they don't have that, and they're in the comfort of their home. So they're not thinking school when they're in school. They're thinking my toys over here, or my siblings over here. It's hard. It's way harder to focus. So if anything, I would say make sure that you're being patient with them and understanding, and then being patient and understanding to yourself too, because while you want your kids to excel, it's going to be kind of difficult to navigate this new normal. Um, I would try to get out as much as possible, as far as making sure that they keep their social skills, and be okay with if there are some extra tutoring or things that are needed, just because you can't put that all on you to be a teacher, mom, wife, or father. Everything, you can't do that to yourself. So if there are other avenues that you have to take, as far as tutoring and just making sure that they are retaining the knowledge, I just say be open to that too.
I know that, with COVID, when it hit, it was kind of like, okay, we're going to take a break and like this is all going to be over next year. And then it's next year and
Hmm.
the summer is over. And now it's like, okay, so now you get to be the teacher and you have to be all of these extra things. And I could not imagine, I don't have children, but I
Okay.
could not imagine coming home every day and having to cook dinner. And then, but I got to make sure that you're on your Zoom call and but we got to make sure like you still have some social emotional things that are
Hmm.
happening and connecting with other people, and then also like you're doing all of these components, but yet you're still also very aware that if you're there's COVID right here, right?
Right.
And so now like this is our new normal, but then it's like, so what are we supposed to do with this? And
Right.
I've talked to a lot of parents um who are just like, I just don't even want to get them online. Some
Hmm.
have actually just went with like, we're not going online today.
Hmm. Oh, there's
And
gonna be a lot of that, I'm sure.
yeah.
I'm literally like, you sure you don't want to homeschool? Because I would even do the homeschooling over this virtual. It is a lot, and then you have to think about their eyes and all that light. Like, I don't want to speak this out, but there are probably gonna be a lot of kids that need glasses next year, because this is wild. Like, I'd be tired of
Mhm.
looking at the screen.
Yeah,
So,
I can't even imagine. And then did you see that there's these glasses that actually are reflectors for like blue?
yes,
And
yeah.
yeah,
And
and
I'm like,
I've
the fact that we're recommending that to 5 and 6 and 7 year olds, like, come on, no, I
mhm,
don't.
yeah, at one point you're like, stop looking at the screen, to go outside, go play,
Yeah,
so you can't watch TV. And now it's like, no, I need you to sit in front of the screen all day and just like
right.
be content.
Because screen time is screen time. However you put it, it's still screen time. So
Mhm.
what you drawing that line and having that boundary of like, how come it's okay when it's school, and how come they'll push it. Kids will ask too.
Uh, and then, oh, why do I have to be up at 8:30? Like it's on a computer. Do I really have to get dressed? Because I know I have a client who said, well, my teacher said I have to get dressed every day and I don't want to. And I was like, I can't force you.
Right.
I don't know how they're gonna force you, but I mean, y- just let them be.
That's funny you said that though, because today one of the little boys is like jumping up and down on his bed, but you could tell he only got dressed for the top portion because he had like his little Spider-Man dress. And I'm like, and his dad's like, no, 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 get down. Because all you see are underwear and his like button up. So I'm like, see, you're at home. You're like, why? Why pants? Yeah, no.
When all this started, right? And we're sitting at home and I'm on Zoom calls and I was like, do I really like let me just put on a hoodie.
Right, right,
If I'm an adult and just put on a hoodie for Zoom calls, can you imagine a kid like, yo, I'm just not about that life today?
right. You don't feel like it. And it's early in your beds right there, because a lot of them are doing it from their bed too.
Mhm.
So also that's another thing, maybe making a safe space or like a learning corner or something, I think would make them a little more excited and give them the school feel.
Mhm.
I've been seeing that a lot too.
Yeah, and I know our low income families and homeless families don't have the same accessibility. And so I think also like recognizing that, but I don't know if it's really on the school district to find a way so we can support. I know that the some of the boys and girls clubs are doing all day for situations like that. And I know other organizations are opening up their doors, but it's still really hard because you're expecting families that might not have access to internet or might not have access to a roof over their heads
Yeah,
to have like a computer and the screen time when they're just worried about their basic needs.
right.
So I don't even know like what are we going to do to support that in navigation? And I can't even imagine and how we're going to at least support the youth to just be okay with
Mhm.
that portion.
Mhm. Yeah, I know it's tough because it's like, where do you start? Because
Right.
all of it is like out of our control. We don't know what's next. I heard some stuff about some districts starting school, some district. So it's kind of hard to now because then it's like when we go back to school, what about placements? And you just in transportation, all that stuff because COVID, you can only have certain amount of
Mhm.
people, and that's a thing. Even for me, I can't transport right now
You
in my
can't.
van. Yeah,
Is it because of them sitting next to each other?
yeah, and I guess because it's a closed space, enclosed
Okay.
space. I mean, I don't have nowhere to transport them now anyway because I don't feel comfortable taking them out. But that's, we're normally gone every day in the summer. We do like summer concerts and different things. So that was gone. And then during the school year, I take them to like the aquarium. We do like the Pacific Science Museum, all that, the Science Center and everything. And so I'm just like trying to bring all those things, all those different aspects into um, the childcare now. And I mean, it's working. They're good, but I know that they're itching to be out. So
Did you guys get to do anything this summer? Or was it just all we
everything I
posted?
brought to the backyard. We had wild waves in the backyard because I'm right by wild waves. So we have wild waves in the backyard, in the front yard. We had s'mores. We did like I have a projector. Created a thing in the daycare, so we had like a drive-in. We brought everything inside. So I mean, they thought it was the coolest thing ever. Um, but I just
I
feel bad because
am
I'm
hanging
like,
out with you guys.
that's what all the parents are like. We want to stay. I'm like, this is for my babies. You gotta go.
I mean, because I miss Wild Waves this summer
I know.
and, going to movies and all these things. And I'm glad that you were able to get inventive and make it to where it wasn't feeling like it was missed.
Yeah. I really try to because I'm like, I always want them to enjoy themselves. And I want it to be as peaceful for the parents going to do their work, you know?
Mhm.
So whatever I can do to make it fun, I try to do. But I do feel like this COVID and stuff is kind of gonna probably make it harder on the providers just because of all the different like the PPE and different things that we have to now have. It can make it tricky, especially for centers. So I don't know. I don't know.
Is there something that is change? Do you know if there are things that are changing for the centers? I know you're more in home care that you guys have to worry about when, especially when it is working with the kids in such a I don't want to say closed space, but in a smaller space.
So something that I'm trying to figure out is so you know how teachers have in-service days?
Hmm.
I'm trying to figure out because when COVID first hit, I took time off to deep clean, sanitize times 10 what I already do. Because you should have like a normal sanitizing process. I know like kinder cares and different things they have like sheets and things that they go out off of, but when it's in home, it's a little different. You kind of control the amount and like of your solutions and different things like that. So I've been trying to figure out how I would navigate. Like, do I do it a couple times a month as far as like a deep like carpet cleaning and different things like that? I'm working right now to figure that out. I'm actually going to talk to my licensor and figure out are there going to be specific days that I can do that on, or is it something that I have to do after hours? Um, because it's a lot. They're
Is
worth
it
it though, but it's a lot. I mean, like literally, you're as soon as somebody's done with something, you're picking it up and you're wiping it down, and then you got to let it sit and air out, and then you're sanitizing and washing hands, and they're sanitizing again when they go back inside. And I'm like, I don't want to kill all the germs because you got to have some type of, but it's what you have to do right now.
How do you sanitize the outside play stuff?
I have this. It's like a backpack toy
Okay.
sprayer thing, and then I still wipe them because I'm extra like that. But yeah,
Yo, it makes sense.
yeah,
I would
you
too.
have to. I mean, you have to try to be, and then it's even the outside thing. We haven't been able to go because of the smoke, but um, I we try to get outside as much as possible. Like I'm for nature walks and all of that, and they love it. So that part's not hard.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, they want to be out. So I love that because even if it's cold or raining, we take our little umbrellas and we're gone. Our rain boots, we're out. So
Do
yeah.
they all have their own personal little character face masks?
Yes. Oh, and I have some here that I got from Costco. I actually got a couple of packs from Costco, but they all have them.
Oh,
And they
nice.
end up being like blindfolds and different things after, but they they have them.
I love
They
how
have
kids'
them.
imaginations work, right?
Yeah. And I'm like, you guys, if you have to cough, it's okay, cough, because they're like try to hold it and their eyes start. I'm like, if you don't just cough, it's fine. You're not gonna have to go home. It's okay.
Right.
But they're so smart. I mean, these are 5 and unders. So it'll be interesting to see how the school age kids do because I know that they're gonna wear masks, I think, all day when they go back to school. So that'll be interesting. I went to the gym today and had to wear a mask working out, and I was like,
Really?
absolutely not. I could have took it off, but I'm not used to people being that close to me.
Right.
I'm like trying to get back used to that. So I'm like, yeah, the same for me. I'm gonna just go home.
Yeah, I haven't made it that far out yet.
Yeah, no. It felt good to say I went, but
Yeah. And it's the socialization for
yeah.
adults too.
Mm-hmm.
You got the teachers who are teaching behind screens, and then you got the youth who are looking at you by screens, and we're all just kind of doing the same thing and just like trying to find a new, the new normal that everyone keeps saying, but also like make it, enjoyable. And
Mm-hmm.
also like we're people. We like to see other people. And
Right.
I love working with kids because that the hugs,
I know.
the
It just
hugs
changes the energy. It's a good energy exchange.
Uh-huh. And
Yeah.
then also not just the hugs, it's the I drew you a picture and you don't get
Mm-hmm.
that same interaction anymore.
And the I love yous and
Yes.
yeah, all of that makes it
Yeah,
worth it. That's why I'm like the extra sanitizer and all that. I could deal with that. We can work that out. But yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
so
and just finding that way to make it as normal as possible. Because we're in a new way of thinking and a new way of moving. And we and unfortunately, when you walk outside the door, you don't know what you touch, if it, can make you sick or if it won't make you
mm-hmm.
sick. And you're also teaching, even though we're talking about germs, which we're teaching them also to be extra more aware than what we've been doing
Right.
beforehand.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, so what is something that you look forward to? Because I know winter's coming, and it's gonna get colder,
Yes.
and and the holidays are coming, and like, what are you looking forward to do with the youth that you work with?
Um, well, we normally do this actually, yeah, we actually normally do a the giving tree.
Oh,
Familiar
wow.
with that? Yeah,
Yeah.
so we do that and then we do gosh, I can't, but it's the like the Christmas tree. So we do the Christmas tree that's like in the mall, the Commons Mall
Mhm.
at the Target. And then we normally will do like one or two kids from like Valley Hospital or something like that. And
Mhm.
then my kids actually makes help me make sack lunches for those that are less fortunate or like goodie bags and stuff like that. So it'll be dope to because last year they actually we loaded up in the van and we were able to drive around and do like that. But this year, no, they won't be able to do that. So I think just maybe packing up more and being able to bless more people, because I know that there are more people, even more people in need now,
Mhm.
just of a kind gesture. So I think I'm excited to do that. And I plan to bless some more kids and families. Besides this, I actually have it's an organization that I do with my sister-in-law called Melanin Motivated. And so we actually just did a feed in LA for those that were less fortunate. They have like community fridges and we stock those up. And so when you were talking about the resources that some of the families don't have, we're actually doing a back to school drive on the 26th
Okay.
for virtual, because I know that the pandemic has hit people hard and a lot of people have gone back to school shopping, but we'll have resources like supplies and stuff like that out. We're going to do it at the Town Square Park in Federal Way on the 26th from 11 to 1. So people, if you know anyone, they can come by and grab like notebooks, glue sticks, sanitizer, Kleenex, things that they may have run out of or didn't have. They can come by and grab those. So we'll be doing a lot of stuff like that. Me and the kids, but also with Melanin Motivated. If you know of anyone there, feel free to come by that too.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And so you're just gonna put a table out there and
Yep.
then
And
just give it
just
out, or is it gonna be contactless?
no, we'll have a table out and people will be able to, we're gonna try to have it like already pre-packed, but there'll be some loose items too. If people just want to kind of grab not everything, they can come and grab some stuff. There'll be gloves there, masks and stuff like that too. Um, but even if they want to just say, hey, you know, or DM, hey, I want to come pick up, because a lot of people aren't comfortable being out. And so we're going to try to have it as socially safe as possible. But I just really want to be able to be a resource and give back the best way that I can, because normally we would have did it earlier, but we ended up doing that feed last week too. So.
And you said the feed was in LA.
Mhm.
What made you get so is your family in LA too?
I have, yeah, my dad's actually from there. And so
Okay.
we took a family trip down there, and we were like, because we're based obviously out of here, but we do blessings and experiences every month. And so this month we just did a month of blessings. So every week we've been doing something to pour back into the community. And we ended up being in LA last week. So we were like, let's just bless people in LA. And it ended up, we rode around and packed some of the community fridges and everybody was loving it. So
That's cool.
thank
Like, and,
you.
you said basically once a week you guys bless
Yeah.
something or someone.
Yep.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm excited for your school giveaway.
Thank
We
you.
just did one here not too when we did the healing event, and I think we're gonna do another one here soon too. And you know, I recognize the fact that school supplies is harder to buy this year.
Yeah, it is. And you see so much of it left over. You know, normally you don't see that much. I haven't heard a lot about it. And I'm just like, maybe people are really in need. And so we actually did a poll, and there were a lot of people that were like, yeah, that would help, because it's another, I mean, $20, $30 that you probably wouldn't have to worry about if you had that resource. So
Mhm.
that's
Yeah,
good.
and even though we're going into a virtual space, it doesn't mean that everything's virtual.
Right. Or free.
Hmm.
Because I think that's the misconception, you know, the stimulus, the $1,200. I'm like, that people still have to live. That doesn't take away from, you know,
Uh-huh.
that's not
No.
taken away from the fact that you still need food on your table. You still want to be able, I mean, I think the only thing that may have helped that is the fact that you don't have to do so much back to school shopping as far as clothes. But I mean, you still want to have your supplies and what you need, because every day that he logs on, I see you need paper, pencils. Now they have whiteboards, because the white the you know, the whiteboards where you the dry erase, because you're
Yeah.
not in class to write. So now they need
Really?
that, and erasers, and yeah. I'm like, huh? Calculators in the first grade? I don't remember that. So yeah, it's
A
wild.
calculator in the first grade?
Yeah. Well, no, they're
Stop.
calculating. He's actually doing fractions. So yeah, I'm like, huh? I don't know. But we're
That's
gonna go
beyond
with
me.
it.
Yeah, just go pick
I was like,
his.
maybe they're creating stuff because it's virtual. I don't know because I don't remember a calculator in first grade.
I don't remember fractions in the first grade. I think I was doing like 5 + 5 and calling it a day.
Yeah, no. He's like, this is 1/4 and three. I don't know. I don't know.
Look,
Yeah.
as long as long as, long as they get it, and
Right.
I am glad that I am not a virtual parent because
Yeah,
I don't think I could do math. Math is not my strong suit,
mine either. My
and
brother's like a
so
mathematician, but me, I'm like, no, let's read.
yes, I got you on writing,
Yeah.
maybe history. But when we start talking about fractions and multiplying fractions
You
and
lost me. Yeah.
all the way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like building up, they're building up a different kind of life than what I remember as a kid. But it was a while ago since I was a kid.
Yeah. Same here.
And it's just like building this life. And I'm really proud of the parents and the youth this year for just the resiliency because
Literally.
of the frustration, especially with the going on virtual, and then also creating spaces if they have the space to create it,
Mm-hmm.
and all the money that has been lost this year, especially because now parents have to stay home
Right. Right.
and work and build that way. Um, because that's all we have. And as much as I am the blessing was that $1,200, that only goes for so long
Mm-hmm.
and so far, especially with rent. So, finding resources to really support the families so that we can make sure that they can be successful and set them up for success.
It's very important. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. More opportunities to be intentional with giving and like serving others. Because I've been fortunate enough to work the whole pandemic. I'm so grateful because I'm
Yeah.
like, everybody hasn't had that opportunity. A lot of people haven't had that opportunity. So
Mhm.
why not give back?
No, I feel that giving back to when, especially, when you're working through this whole process, and then you want to support other people because that is a blessing in itself.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
lot, but it's like all good thing. I mean, it's gonna be great. I'm
Yeah.
I'm, I'm putting that out there.
Hmm. Is there, I know that, you said like creating a space for the like for the kiddo to just like be able to focus.
Hmm.
Um, what would you think that would be a great way for the family to kind of bond and self-care in the middle of all of this as they're going through virtual learning?
I think just I'm trying to think of what I would need or like what I would like. Um, I mean, we talked about patience and like being understanding, but I think being mindful of the little wins, the small wins, I should say, like when you get those progress reports or you get those great comments from the teacher, maybe having celebratory dinners, or even if it can't be a dinner, but just like making that child feel appreciated or seen and heard for what it is that they are doing in the midst of this pandemic, because we know how hard it's been on us mentally as adults, right? So imagine being a child where you've been able to do everything X, Y, and Z with your family, and then now you're told that you have to be inside, right? And you don't understand why, and then the screen time and all of that's an issue too. So not only has your summer and everything else been taken from you, but now your school too. So I think being intentional with like being celebratory of those wins that they may have that you would have looked over prior. Or I don't want to say looked over because you try, I'm sure every parent tries to catch everything that they can, but like you had a great day in art. Let's celebrate that. Let's have a dance party or whatever, even if it's not something that you're going out and buying every time, because realistically, that's not um, there for everyone. But I think just letting that kid know, like, I'm proud of you and I see what you're doing in the midst of, like you said, being resilient. because a lot of kids are going to struggle, but the fact that they're pushing through and persevering, I think that that's great. Like that's something that needs to be um, celebrated. So I think just be mindful of those small wins.
Yeah. Has yours done PE yet?
Yes.
Uh,
And I don't understand it. I don't because he was just standing and I'm like, is this supposed to be? He was like standing and stretching. And so we took a time out and we did some yoga. I was like, you'll come back to this at the end of PE. And he got to go. And then we actually did we played tennis and I'm like the most non-athletic person ever. We were outside. He had me running up and down the street and everything, but we got it in and he was relaxed when he came back to the computer and everything. And I just told his teacher, so I think she logged that because I'm like, he's not gonna just stand up behind this chair and stretch. And like it wasn't even a full PE type of situation. So I don't know if that was a trial and error or what, but it was an error for sure. I was
I
like,
mean,
we're good
I've
outside.
actually seen videos of some of the kids doing PE and they are like running in place or they're trying imaginary. And I've had a couple of friends like videotaping. I'm like, what are they doing? I'm
Right.
confused.
Yeah, it looks goofy.
And but then if you think about it though, if we take PE away, then that's also like taking a job away. But virtual
Right.
PE is interesting.
I'm like, where's the insanity tapes or Tybo or something? Like, give us
Right.
something. Be an instructor. I don't know.
I don't know, or like maybe doing. I think that is the only one that I can't imagine via Zoom. Is
Hmm.
like, how do you just build like this curriculum and then saying, okay, do it behind the screen,
Yeah, I don't know.
and then I gotta watch you.
Right. And make sure you're doing your jumping jacks and all these other things. Yeah.
Hmm. Or maybe just recording. That might be a great way to do it. Like just record what you're doing and then have them get graded that way.
I wonder if they could pre-record something and send it. Like
That's a
the
great idea.
teacher or the PE teacher could send something and like this is your workout of the day or whatever.
Mhm.
Uh, So I can see you doing it. I don't know. Because
And
he
then just put
literally
in a
was like,
video like, hey guys, this is what
yeah,
we're doing.
yeah.
Now follow along with this video as I sit here and I watch you guys. And I'm sure your parents are videotaping everything and putting it to
Even if
Facebook.
it's not true, just say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd be so excited to move because they're at the computer all day long.
Oh,
I
well,
know.
it's 6 hours.
His is, but then I have a kindergarten or yeah, kindergartner who is 3 hours.
Only 3 hours a day.
Yeah. But I think it's because he's a kindergarten. So, transitioning them in from not being in school to kindergarten, he's 3 hours a day. And he actually does that with his mom. So he's able to, this is like his free play, free, we do like some sight words and stuff like that. And then he'll go home and he does his actual school with his mom. Because you were able to pick 2 sessions, I believe.
Oh
The
wow.
morning
Okay.
session or the evening, I'm thinking.
Mhm.
That's what she said. Yeah.
Oh wow. I would be interested to see what how kindergarten rolls with because I know like you're just getting the basics. I remember nap time still in kindergarten,
Yeah.
or at least laying down in quiet time.
Yeah. No, they don't get, well, I know in Federal Way, they don't get that.
Yeah, but again, I'm older, and
You're like, that was
so late.
then. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
In back in the day where it was a little bit different, but then also like thinking about because I know that they do more. I know that they are they have story time and circle time, and it's more interactive and bonding time.
Right.
And then you take that part away, and
Yeah.
then the 3 hours. Um, so I mean, but I appreciate everything that you're doing. The
Thank you.
community work that you're doing, the school stuff that you're doing, all this, just and then also the virtual learning stuff that you're doing, and all the advice for the families. That it's amazing. I can't imagine being in childcare right now, and having so many hats to wear and sanitizing
Yeah.
and with all those little mouths and hands and like oh I sneeze but I'm still gonna play
Yeah.
with
Mm,
and then the
Chocolate.
babies
Yeah, my babies. Yeah.
and then the crawling and they're just doing all of these things and you're still trying to like still let them be kids but also be
Right.
having them be aware of like what's happening out in the communities and then the stuff that you're doing on the side is amazing.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome. um I don't have any more questions
you. Okay.
and and I really appreciate you coming on and just talking and vibing for a little bit. Is there anything last that you want to say?
No, I think it's going to turn around and work out for our good. I know that it probably sounds cliche, but just be patient and understanding because we're all doing the best that we can.
Right. Okay. Well, I appreciate you for coming on Thursday Thoughts
Yeah.
and just hanging out with us. And we'll hopefully I'll see you again. You'll come
Yes,
on
you will.
again.
Yeah.
I would love for you to come on again. And we'll do it again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.